spirit-led, spirit-fed. I'm spirit-inspired as I arise from bed. I'm spirit-guided as this life I walk through. I'm spirit-blessed to know the Spirit in you. So dance with your sisters, your brothers as well. Let the Spirit within you unleash holy hell. For the Spirit within us is big, bold, and loud, with powers and light to pierce the darkest of clouds. So we say, Spirit lead and Spirit bleed the hearts of all our unconscious misdeeds. Then transfuse us with truth to illuminate our way, so to be Spirit-fed each and every day. Breathe, anyone. Just breathe in the words. Leave it up there for a minute so people can try to slow down my talking, my reading, my reciting, whatever you want to call it, so that you guys can breathe in some of the words sometimes. Because I wrote it, so I know the words. And I forget that. I forget that sometimes. Because sometimes, even though this is my roadmap to my talk, sometimes there will be a fork in the road in the middle of the talk and I'll go a completely different direction. So that's all good too. That's part of being spirit-led and spirit-fed. Now, we did a meditation today where I invited you to look at some times in your life where perhaps you were guided by Spirit to do something and you did not. I also invited you to look at times in your life when you were inspired or guided to do something by Spirit, God, the God of your understanding, and you did. And to feel the differences in those emotions. So as we talk today about spirit-led and spirit-fed, I've talked before about, and many of you have heard the story about the two wolves within us, or the shadow side and the light side, or there's many different ways we can talk about it, but it's about nourishing this spirit within me and this body as opposed to feeding my emotions also, which I do all the time. I've done many times in my life. It's like I didn't get this wonderful figure from eating lean. I got it from feeding my emotions. And when you see me lean, you knew I was nourishing my spirit and nourishing my body. People who have known me for a long, long time have seen my body as an accordion. Because at any different moment in life, I'm either nourishing my body or I'm feeding my emotions. I will never lie to you. I will always tell you my process. I may not share every moment of it. That's privacy again. But to tell you, I was in a process. I'm a human being walking the planet. Are you a human being walking the planet? Yes, we're all in process. Yay, now that we've agreed upon that. Because the process ends when you stop breathing. And then your next process begins. And that's to be determined by your soul in your agreement with the spirits. But while we're on this planet and in process, at any given moment, our process is going to be joyful, smooth, or it's going to be rough. And it's to go inside and to find that spirit within us and find what are we being guided to do? What are we divinely being guided and fed? Am I listening? Am I hearing? Am I doing the things I'm guided to do, or am I shutting that off and just feeding my body? Just feeding my emotions, just feeding my pain, which is okay. There's no judgment in this, folks. There really isn't. You could become 650 pounds because you fed your emotions your whole life, and there's still no judgment in this. You may not be able to get up and walk around the planet. It's very hard, literally very hard for people to physically maneuver their life when they've achieved that much gravity. But there's no judgment with it. Who the hell am I to judge that human being and their soul walk for what goes on in their body? I am not here to do that, but what I'm here to do, for me, is to perhaps guide them into themselves. Guide them into that spirit within them. Help them make the choice to help them nourish their bodies instead of feeding their emotions. And a lot of people that have made those choices, they've used their mental capacity and started thinking positively and getting motivated doing it that way. But they still left that divine guidance out. They left that inspiration out. So we've talked about, again, in the meditation this morning, how many times in your life that you had something that you were divinely guided to do, but you didn't do. And I want to take some time with you guys today. I want you guys to take some time with each other. I'm inviting you guys to pair up. We're going to do a couple different exercises today, real simple ones, where if you're sitting right beside each other, simple enough. If not, turn back around. And I want you to talk 2 times, bless you, in your life. You're okay, sweetie. You can sneeze all day if you want. We're going to continually bless you. Just so you know. But breathe, everyone. Breathe into the moments when you know Spirit was telling you to do something, and fear got you and stopped you in your tracks. And I would like you to take this moment to turn to a partner, discover one, and give 2 examples, and each one's going to take a moment of when you were inspired to do something by the God of your understanding and did not because fear stopped you in your tracks.
I can't think of anything. You tell me.
Make sure both people get a chance to share. Take this next minute to wrap it up. One more minute.
And I didn't have to qualify. You know what I mean? I didn't. But mostly, every place I had,
And if we can start finishing up with each other, bring it back. All right, everyone. Breathe in into everything that you just shared with each other and bring it back for a moment. Because I'm going to give you an opportunity. I'm going to give you an opportunity in a moment to share some other things.
Okay.
So an interesting thing that happened just now, and in meditation, both times I invited you to look at the times you were inspired to do something, or guided by spirit, and fear stopped you in your tracks. Both times, in the middle of the meditation and just now, ambulances went screaming by in the moment. It's very interesting, and I smiled in the meditation because it was even louder than just now. And I smiled, I'm like, right on, spirit, man, like perfect timing. Like she, all that is, needed me to tell him, they, that. We're done. Fear. False evidence appearing real. We've all heard that acronym, right? We've heard that. Forget everything and run. There's another one. That one jumps on us seems to be more. Because the false evidence appearing real one will sit me down and just keep me sat. Doesn't matter what I've been divinely guided to do. That false evidence appearing real will engage the paranoid part of me and give him the floor for the rest of my life, or how long I choose to let him have the floor. I told you all that I let him watch the door, because that's his job. He's paranoid. He'll check it all the time, make sure no one's coming in, and then I know I'm safe, just to give him something to occupy his time. Otherwise, he will take the floor, always. It's his job, to be paranoid. Mr. Paranoia, the paranoid part of me, or you. You can name her whatever you like. I call mine Mr. Paranoid. And I have given him the job of watching the door because within the community of selves, that particular one always seems to get in my way, because he takes fear and says, this is real, it's right in your face. Sorry, Becky, it's right in your face. It stops us in our tracks. Or the other one, where Mr. Paranoid will tell everybody else inside, forget everything and run. And we do. We're gone. All our dreams, all our desires, all our passions, all our friends, all our family left in our dust. And we never thought we could run so fast. For all the working out and exercising we may or may not have done in our lives, that one we will win the gold medal every single time. And there's no tiger chasing us or anything. It's just false evidence, again. But how many times in our life have you guys just discovered or shared with each other, has what I was divinely inspired to do, and I owned it and acknowledged it as divine inspiration, God of my understanding, Spirit-led, and said, no, I'm too scared. There's a gentleman that you may have heard of. His name was Jesus. And it was a Thursday night when it happened, as the story goes. And he had been guided his whole life to do these different things for the people. And some of it started getting on him. And he was a human, he was a man. He was a man who became enlightened and walked the planet trying to teach other people the truth of us. But it scared him, and it was a moment that fear jumped on him. And it was called the Garden of Gethsemane. And he did not want to do it anymore. He's like, take this cup away from me. I do not want to drink of this poison. No, 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 no. Why should I do all this? What's my reward? What's in it for me? You've got me killing myself. You've got me. I know what's happening. I know what's about to happen because you gave me the foresight and the clairvoyance to know they're going to flog me and they're going to rape me, my soul, and then I'm going to have to deal with all this pain. What's in it for me? He had his human moment. Fear was trying to stop him what he was being divinely guided to do. Now, is to carry out, as the story goes, the most horrific thing that could happen to him. He was just about to walk into it, and fear jumped on him, but he sat and he prayed. He stayed in it. He walked through his own fear, talked with God, and came to his own resolve at the end. And well, we know the story. We know he didn't run. We know he didn't, like, elbow Judas and take off the other way. We know as the different apostles and disciples wanted to fight for him, he was saying, stop. Stop the fighting. Stop it. We fight so much with our own divine inspiration that we stop what we can do in this world because of fear. We stop our own inspiration, we stop our own magic because of fear. We just let it stop us in our tracks. And there's so many different things that I've already seen the humans in this world, in this room, offer the world because they weren't afraid to continue. It's like I know the things that I've offered the world because I got past my fear, but I also know the things that I have yet to offer the world because fear slapped me in the face and I listened. And said, okay, I'll just sit down and shut up because they don't really want to hear me anyway. They're going to think I'm crazy, which the consensus is in on that. Everybody has thought that since I've walked the planet. At 51 almost, you think I'd stop worrying about it? Yeah. It's time to stop worrying about whether people think we're crazy or not and just be. Last week we were talking about dancing and that fire within us. This week I'm saying, let the spirit within you unleash holy hell. Have you ever had those moments when you were with someone else, and because you guys were talking back and forth, all of a sudden magic happened, and you got inspired to do something you never dreamed you would have the tenacity to do? But because you two talk together, so I'm blessed to see the Spirit in me. The Spirit in me is blessed to see the Spirit in you every single day. So when we lead each other, when we guide each other into our own inspirations, Becky's may be different than mine, but if I can see that twinkling of it in her eyes and she can see the twinkling of mine, and we come together to inspire each other and say, go for it, I believe in you, I believe in you. You know what an important sentence that is? To look in each other's eyes and say that? Whose eyes is it most important to look in and say that? Yeah. The very first, like 25, 26 years ago, Margie and I started, we did this workshop called Emergence, and it started us on our path of enlightenment, if you want to call it. Even though we had started on our path of enlightenment, well, it started with a crawl. Because we've all been on the path of enlightenment since you walked the planet, since you've been born, since you did the first, open your eyes and like, oh, wow, here I am on Earth. But we started our conscious knowing that we created our reality about 25, 26 years ago in a silly thing called emergence. And all the different wonders coming out and all the different inspirations coming out of us then. And we knew that as we looked into each other's eyes and brought out the passions, the spirit, the guidance, that all the pains of yesterday were going to be washed away if we continued to move forward, if we just continued to do the work. And sometimes the work was scary, very scary, and sometimes it was silly, very silly. It doesn't matter though. It's about, again, are you willing to unleash the holy hell with each other? So we're going to take another couple minutes. And now I want you to go back with your partners. And I want you to share the times that you were inspired by Spirit and you followed through, that you did what you were divinely guided to do. And I want you to share the results of it emotionally and what the outcome was. I'm less attached to the outcome. Big deal, whatever, we've all done stuff. I want to know how it made you feel and what changed in your life. So take another couple minutes and share times in your life where you were divinely guided by Spirit, God of your understanding, to do something and you did it. And go.
I mean, I guess for me, I have to everything that I never would have been at every next year. Got to the point where, I mean, you never, it's like, you stop saying that, not because you've given up. The success that you have so, yeah, but ultimate success, I think, for us is we would be able to not have jobs or passions, not like we want to get rich and famous, we want to be able to spreading the word and people, but also to be able to support us so we can do that much better. Exactly. That's just what we do. That's anything that we have goes into. Yeah, I have to say that that's everything. Yeah. So that makes me feel, I guess when you see the outside, like even the like the night I was last night and we saw the little kids out there dancing and that's really important. When somebody says that was fire, right? It's really not monetary. To be able to help people and make them smile, make them feel good.
Make sure both people get a chance. Give yourselves another minute.
In your dream, that was all God. That makes you feel
Well, we like to too. We told you that we are excited. Good stuff. We want you to know that we're trying to get you down. I mean, they were
I don't even know how I'm here so it's locked in here.
In about another 30 seconds, we're going to pull it back.
Oh, thank you. Congratulations. I see your card
Did what they needed to do. Don't give a
even though the truth is
what they're trying to do. Much more knowledge.
You would have made a way for it. But yeah.
the great thing is,
Alright, everybody, let's bring it back. Reeling the reins in before we have a runaway wagon here. With a nice deep breath. Breathe. Ah, that helps. So how did that one feel?
Good.
Much better. Not that we're comparing things, but much better, right? Sometimes it's okay to compare. Because the moments in life when we follow that divine inspiration. Now, may I share? That question was asked a moment ago of how do we know if it's divine inspiration or if it's just me? And my first response to her was, you are spirit. Also, so that's number one. Two is, if it's lifting the people, whoever the people are, up, then I would say it's divinely guided. You're allowed to be lifted up just by yourself, too. And that's okay. We're allowed to have those moments. That's the oxygen mask first, so I can serve other people. But it doesn't put anybody else down. So even if I'm divinely inspired just for me, because I'm divinely, I've got some things going on that are going to be just for me. But in that ultimate me serving me, I'm going to be able to serve you better. Or more. Let's just say more. Because better means I failed before, and we don't want to do that to each other. You serve each other more, cleaner, more smiles, perhaps. I mean, we're allowed to do it more free. You know, Ram Dass, it's like I'm not a Ram Dass wannabe or anything like that, but I like some of the things the guy said. And one of the things he said is a lot of times that we get stuck in our addictions because we thought we wanted to be high, and what we really wanted to be was free. And I want to be free, man. I want to be free. I want to be free of every addiction I've ever known, even if it's addicted to myself. Does that make sense? Because there's sometimes personality traits in us that can change if we inspire ourselves to do so, unless we become addicted to how we've even been walking the planet. And knowing that it's okay to change doesn't mean I'm going to change the fabric of who I am. You're still going to know me, you're still going to know my essence, you're still going to know the mark inside, but there's some nuances about me that I've wanted to change for me so that I can be free. And some of the things that I've given up, I gave up cigarettes 2 years ago almost. I am free from cigarettes. Thank you. Thank you. So is my sister, so is Scott, meaning pats on the back. And, oh, sorry, I forgot. Well, it's just, I see her free from cigarettes. I see you all free. But my point is, I was locked in a prison there. And that's part of what this stuff is with each other, about the boldness. And that's what I was saying when I was looking in Becky's eyes, saying if she's inspired for something and I know it, and I'm inspired and she knows it, let's be bold together. Let's create something different out of that inspiration. We'll do your project, we'll do my project, and then somewhere in the middle, something new is going to come out because we got bold. And in our inspiration together, we got even more inspired. Things like that have happened with Scott and I in the past. As we've written different workshops that we had no idea what we were going to start with until we played tennis back and forth. And he'd volley and I'd return, and then he'd hit it, and we back and forth, and we got more and more inspired. Margie and I have done the same thing in other workshops. You all have done the same thing in many facets with all the things that you do in life. But just look at our musical groups here. When they're working together and one person goes whang, and another person goes da-boom, and then another person does that, and on next thing we know we have a song. Because she was inspired to do it this way. The notes may have been written on the paper, but the way her hand plucked that key, strummed that string, hit that drum, that's coming from inside. That can't be put on paper. That's passion, that's inspiration. There's a lot of technically good musicians, and then there's some that maybe their technical part isn't as great, and you'll hear that flub up here and there, but man, do they play with soul. And that's what I'm talking about, is playing your life with soul. I don't care if you can play a lick on the keyboard, go play your music. Everybody can play music, and when we come together and be bold, we can really play it. Now, sometimes, before we can get to the bold, we have to realize that this next line, so we say spirit lead and spirit bleed, the hearts of all our unconscious misdeeds. What the hell does that mean, Mark? It means breathe and get off your own back. Everybody here know what a transfusion is? I've had over 250 of them. I am one with everyone. Because I'm O positive, the universal recipient, so I truly have had blood from every different blood type there is. But the transfusion was happening because the blood that was in my body at the time wasn't good. I had bad blood. Sometimes our unconscious misdeeds is what I'm talking about. But spirit can transfuse those. We can transfuse those unconscious thoughts by positively putting more and more love into our lives. I can love you. I can love you. Matter of fact, I am a professional lover of you. I have flunked at loving me. Now, I've gotten like better grades as time has gone on, but I don't know if I'm on the honor roll. I would like to be. I'm aspiring to be on the dean's list, but I keep getting detention instead. But that's okay, because I'm still in school, and I'm still learning how to love me. And I know that when I love you, I'm like, sometimes I actually take a step back and go, well, I probably felt nice. I wonder how it would feel if I did that for me. It's okay for us to love each other, but we truly do have to love ourselves first. So sometimes when we have that negative, that shadow side, those negative thoughts going on, we just want to flog ourselves like we're going on the cross this weekend instead of the guy who did it for us so that we didn't have to, as the story goes. If we're going to believe in that, we've got to remember that that's why he supposedly went on the cross, was so that we can be free from this sin. Well, this is the sin we're talking about. It's the sin is right here. It's what we're telling ourselves that's untruth, that's false evidence appearing real, that's going to stop the inspiration from the God, the goddess, the universe that lives in here. that was planted, and I've watered it my whole life to bring to the other humans. You go, look at me. Look at the reflection of God that I am. Look at the reflection of God that I would like to show the world. If I'm stuck in fear, you ain't seeing crap, man. You're not going to see my reflection. You're not going to see a mirror. You might see a bunch of broken pieces of a mirror that I'm still been sweeping up. And I see little bits and fragments of who I am, believing them to be the whole me, when it's just a small aspect. I mean, we've done all this work this year and throughout your lives about talking about the community within you and the different selves. It's understanding with now a little bit of patience, a little bit of compassion, a little bit of tenderness. Golly, man. Be with yourselves as if you would be to a brand new baby or the oldest of oldest people that were so frail. You just needed to be with them so delicately. Treat yourselves like that and ask Spirit, ask you to give you a transfusion. To let these misdeeds, these unconscious misdeeds that just happen by virtue of being human and walking along the world and tripping. I just tripped here. If you saw this morning, thank you. I'll share because I don't care. It started out with trying to get my keys out of my pocket to put them there. But I always take my bottoms out so I can talk, so my bottoms went flying out over there, and then I went to get them, and I bumped into that, knocked that down, hit the drum. It was very, Coyote was here. But it's no big deal. Certain times in life we get so flustered or so afraid of just simple little mistakes that could I have let that stop my talk? Could I have been so nervous or worried about, oh my God, they saw my bottom dentures on the floor? I like Julie's version. The positive can't keep the spirit to the grateful man. Well, at least they didn't break. Yes! I can eat walnuts tonight if I want. I know that was a dry one. Well, walnuts are pretty dry, but anyway. I have nobody back here. Anyway, my point is, sometimes fear will stop us in our tracks from even being the bold god and goddesses that we already even knew we were. It's like, if I'm not nervous to come up here anymore, I was when I first began. I don't have a problem admitting that. There's all kinds of levels of stage fright. But if I would have let something like that bother me, I would have taken away from myself and what God was saying to me to do today. Because sometimes I don't know what I'm going to do today. I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. Like I said, I'll have a map, and then halfway through the trip, I'll get a fork in the road and I'll go left or go right. Wow, isn't that like just life? Oh, yeah. So we're all on the same journey. Sometimes a fork just comes in the road out of nowhere. Can you go within and hear which way to go? Can you know left or right? Or are you going to just sit there at the fork of the road worrying yourself about which decision to make? Sitting on the fence. Your name tag is in your arm. I just saw E sticking out of your arm. But it's being willing to listen to the divine voices within you. Being willing to listen and be fed by your God, Goddess, all that is inside. Knowing that, again, we're divine. The divinity's here. That's what we say every week, to explore our humanity and divinity. Well, you're the humans and you're divine. And that's what we're exploring. We take little journeys about ourselves and community, or whatever you want to call it, the shadow sides, the intimacy, the who, what, when, where, why, and how, so that we can get further and further to the calm of our divinity. I don't think it's going to stay calm for long. Because once you tap into it, bam! The biggest storm that you could ever think of, but it's a controlled storm and you're the one doing it. You are a hurricane, you're a tornado, you are a force to be reckoned with when you are willing to tap into that pool. When you're willing to tap into the power of you, there's nothing you cannot do. Nothing. It says that right in the Course of Miracles, actually, all the time. You guys, we guys, us people, are more powerful than anything we could have ever imagined. But we constantly thwart what we can do with what we put in our bodies, what we put in our minds. How many people here have given up watching the news? It pollutes our minds. It's hard. It's almost like an addiction, isn't it, sometimes? Because I've noticed when, like, we don't really watch TV anymore, but we'll either record a movie, we'll record something, or we'll watch Netflix, but you gotta turn the TV on and stuff to get there. And the way they have it set up, you turn your TV on, bam, right to 13 Channel News. I mean, Channel 13 News. So within 5 minutes, and they always lead off the stories with doom, gloom, horrific things, death, pillage, murder. Ah! Golly, I was just trying to set up the Little Princess movie or something. I just got bombarded, and so did my 8-year-old. And I'm like, look away, don't look, stop, close your ears, where's the mute button? And I know I can't isolate her from the world. We know that the Buddha got that lesson. That's what his father did to him. And he went out on his own journey his whole life trying to find out more about this good and bad of life. So I can't shelter her from what is. But I don't have to bombard her with it either. It's like, it's back to the meadow and the raccoon on the side of the road. I know there's a dead raccoon there, a roadkill happens, so I'm talking about it. But boy, is that a pretty meadow, and it's on the highway my entire journey. The meadow goes from my beginning to my destination, and it's beautiful flowers the entire time. Why am I looking at the roadkill? Why am I focusing on it? To notice it, to be aware of it is okay. A thing is what it is. The edge of the cliff is there. If I keep looking at the edge of the cliff, what will happen? Drive right off the cliff. You ever been driving and someone in front of you like goes like that a little bit, and then all of a sudden you go like that a little bit? Man, we're so easy. So that's just driving. What about thoughts? If a group thought, a group mind, a group belief system, and then we just like, ooh, next thing we know, we're like on the shoulder and then off the cliff and bumping all over the place, and we need a new axle to our car and everything. And the guy that was in front of us wasn't like, wow, I have an off-road vehicle. I don't know what you're doing. Oh. Be aware of who you're following. I would say always follow the person inside of you. So I got one more thing I want you to share with each other. I want you to now, with those same partners, go inside, and what has been inside you now that you've been wanting to do and you've been afraid to? What have you been being inspired by Spirit to do in your now? This is the hardest one of all the exercises because it's so easy to talk about repentance. So I dare you, I challenge you, I invite you to share with your friend, your partner, your brother or sister, what divine inspiration or what God's Spirit-led thing is going on in your mind, your body right now that you're not doing because fear has told you, boo. Well, I'll give you a minute. There you are. Now everybody's looking at me. It's a good thing we don't have darts here, man.
All right, you tell me.
Doing the Pasqualino first. It's so helpful. I get fear stopped me.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah, but what is fun?
Well, that's the thing. That's the fun thing that I feel like. Fun thing outside. Right now I'm going outside. It's really dark.
Yeah. My fear putting my job in so that's one thing that they're not having a contact a lot of times you're not doing that for funny other people. Yeah.
So you could.
And then I do have other things, but I'm always afraid they're not going to do it right.
What's happened to me in the past life, physically, that I connect to. So I recommend
I'm trying to relate know how to and then there's probably things I should do for myself. So I really like all that. I can just 2 weeks later. So yeah, I did it. Yesterday.
Give yourselves about 45 minutes shutdown.
Yeah, I got a lot of
Good trick.
but that's because I'm that supposed to be. So they're like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's more of a permanent fear that so I can deal with now.
And finish up with each other and come back to us here.
But if I let other people do it, then I'll have more time to do it. Some teachers are
Where are you going? Tony's over there, Dan's right there.
I'm getting my way.
It's like, I'm conservative by nature. What it was, you know,
Yeah, those were all watching on YouTube. Together, all of us.
All right, everybody. Thank your partners. Lovingly.
We're getting there.
Nice deep breath, everybody. Just breathe that all in. Breathe everything in. Breathe the dreams and inspiration and the passions of your brothers and sisters into your own body as if they were yours. Thank you. Because my dream is your dream, and your dream is mine. Remember that. If you have a dream, I want you to realize it so that I may realize my dreams. So be bold with each other. Yes, exactly, Bella. She said believe. Didn't you hear it? I heard it. She said believe. Our old little evangelist right here. Believe in yourselves. That's what I was saying. That's where my mind went before. When we first started out, it was so foreign to do these affirmations we were doing on Wednesday nights, and it started out with I believe in myself, and I would bust out cracking up every time because it was so foreign to me. First off, an affirmation was like, I don't know, my inner teenager came out. And I was hanging out with her son, who was a teenager at the time, so we were both cracking jokes. But it took me a while to let that just ring true. So that old fake it till you make it sometimes works. You can't fool your body, you can't fool the universe. But you can say something over and over again until it becomes a truth in your body. I believe in each and every one of the people in this room. I truly do. I really, whether you piss me off or not is irrelevant, because we're going to do that as people. We're going to step on each other's toes, folks. That's part of life here. We have to learn forgiveness. We have to learn it in here, and then we have to learn it in here. It's not, do you know that forgiveness is something that you offer? I offer forgiveness. It's like a tithe. It's something I give to you. Well, I have to offer it to me first. So with all that stuff out of the way, then I can see my brothers and sisters and just be with them every single day and believing in them so that you can realize your dreams and help me realize mine just by being a witness to all the wonderful work you do. We're going to listen to a beautiful, wonderful song written by Renaud and sung by a lovely melody, and these wonderful women of the higher sound. So I say thank you, and Hama Takmayasa.
Okay, so anyway, easy song to sing. Sing it to yourself all day long.